Here we are. We are live. Minute or two ahead of time. I was just trying to get things organized. I still haven't figured out how to use Streamlab. Every time I think I got it worked out, I discover I don't. Well, let's see. ABC is here. Zoltan. Howard Van Tassel. Drone Freak. Hey guys. Nice to see you all. I things turn a little differently so I can read the, let's see, move this a little. Oh, that's better or worse, I can't tell. All right. Glory. Just finished a video. It'll be out, I guess, Tuesday. Well, I have to put it together and edit it. I got a little wrothy. I did 20 minutes. And at about the 15-minute mark, I kind of lost it. And just got downright huffy. So we'll see if the editor keeps that in or not. A may not. Which may be the better part of valor. Glory. I don't know. I really haven't got a thing on my mind today. I just thought I'd come chat it up with you guys for a while. Daniel Groth, following from Sweden. Well, happy to meet you, Daniel. And we're going to give you a wrench. I think we have some other Swedes here. What is this? Cosmin. Cosmin was in earlier. The live stream is a different link. Go to the channel home and click from there. Really? I think it's the same link. I don't know. I get so mixed up. I don't know what I'm doing 90% of the time. It's Daniel Groth. Okay, well, I don't know what Cosvin's referring to. I think, however, he was in earlier, like half an hour ago. Oh, Philip is here. Philip's Fish Works. There's a bunch of people. Roger Morella. None of these are showing up. That's odd. On my YouTube channel. Oh, there it is. So back to the beginning here. Live chat, Cosmin, Zoltan. What's this? I'll have timestamps there. Philip's Fish Works. That's odd. Huh. Live chat. The live stream is a different link, Cosman's saying. Well, let's do this. Let me do this. Let's see if it is different. It seems odd. Oh, you know what? Greenwood Cosman. You're right. What have they got? Two things going on at once? How's that even possible? Six oh one, 602. Let's see. Three. I don't know. I'm losing my mind. Magnetic. This is too weird. I seem to be on two different channels at once. I don't even know how that's possible. I probably ought to shut one of them down. Except I don't even know how to do that. This is too weird. Let's do this. I know what to do. Let's post the link. Here. Click on this link to get with us. Let's see if that'll make a difference. Too weird. Aquatic moose. Backed out and back in. Yeah, I posted this link. Too weird. Kenneth D. Nice to see you, Kenneth. How do you get rid of extreme algae? Black and green algae. Quit feeding it. If you have it, it's because it is. Here's a thought. If you have algae in your tank, it's because the algae has nutrients. Now the nutrients allowed to persist are potentially, if not actually, toxic. So if you have algae, it's a pretty good sign that without that algae, you're going to have a toxic tank. So before you think about getting rid of the algae, think about getting rid of what's making your tank toxic that's causing the algae to bloom. How's that? Because that's the bottom line. If you have algae, it's like if you have a tank full of Malaysian trumpet snails. If you do, it's because they've got so much nutrient in there that they're exploding in population. Which means that if you get rid of the Malaysian trumpet snails, your tank will foul. And everything will get sick and die. So what you are perceiving as a problem is actually a solution for a prior problem. You're killing the messenger. You're getting rid of the solution rather than the problem. And this is not uncommon. This is a matter of treating symptoms rather than the disease. If you treat the symptoms, very often the symptoms are what is controlling the disease. And so you get rid of the symptoms and the disease becomes more rampant. Is this making sense to anybody? Matilda, I know. It's Matilda feeding the fish. It's true. I thought about something. Had a friend call me today. Had an idea for a video. It was the 7 greatest sins. And as I thought about that, I thought, well, that would be really cool to have Henry and Matilda do that. Do the 7 sins of fish keeping. I'm going to work on that a bit. I got to tell you, my editor is not crazy about doing Henry and Matilda. It is intensely time consuming. It took him well more than a day to produce that video that got to date about 3,000 views. That's what's sad. Something that is so much fun and such an enjoyment is, I can't figure out how to get it in front of more than a very small number of people. Grenwood, made myself unpopular in a Facebook group today because they wanted help with eliminating a snail explosion. Just told them to cut way down on feeding. I was the only one in the chat to say it. Yeah, I know. Hey, Daniken. Daniken Aquatics. Hello, hello. Nice to see you. Daniel Groff, my greatest sin is feeding too much. You ain't alone, Daniel. You ain't alone. Who's this? West Virginia Holla Girl. She was here last week. Nice to see you. Anon. I had a tank that exploded with algae. Oh, somebody complained to me today that Americans don't know how to say algae. Algae. They want to say algae. It's not algae. It's algae. Algae. It's algae. It ain't algae. Algae. Sounds like a walrus. Algae. It's algae. That's what it is. Let's give Anon a wrench here. Can I do it? What's the problem? Anon is now a moderator. Hey, TK. It's Utah. Hello. Glassbox Hero. Nice to see you. Isabella, my dear Isabella. Good afternoon to you. Pepe's Piri Piri. Happy Ramadan. Happy Ramadan to you. Pepe's. Let me give you a wrench. Dooby-doo. Chris John, 85. Got your plants last week. Another wrench. Where'd it go? with my new father fish tank, looking gorgeous. Oscar is loving it. Wonderful. I sound like a moose. Aquatic moose. Key Aquatics and Exotics. Hello, hello. Should try fasting someday. I know, you're a funny guy. Funny guy, puppies. Should try fasting someday. I know some fishes who do too. Well done. Well, yeah, I need to fast. God knows. I'm about 40 pounds overweight. And I can't fix it. So Melanie says, so I guess it's best to just let the algae do its thing and not try to scrape it. Yeah, what you can do is you can add more plants of the type you would prefer to have. Keeping in mind that if you have plants in a tank that also has algae, which itself is a plant, albeit not a rooted plant, the algae will take up nutrients at the end of the line. After everybody else has had their share, what's left is what the algae will get. So, the more plants you put in there, the less you're going to have a problem with algae. That's the answer to that. Drone Freak, Father Fish, love your content. Much love from the UK. Rodroy, thank you for all the videos. Happy I found you. You've helped me a lot. And we're going to have to give Rodroy a wrench. A wrench to Rodroy. Patricia Sosa, are you or making too much waste? Should I clean it? Now then, I know what you're doing, Patricia. You're trying to trap me. Here's what you do, dear. You quit making so much waste by overfeeding. That's what you do. Slow way down on feeding. That will reduce waste. It will reduce algae. Loving your sense of humor, Ryan says. 4 dirty tanks going strong, not one water change. Just top-offs. Cheers. That's all I ever do. I do top-offs. Now, I have hard water. Hard alkaline water. I top off with more of it. I finally got covers for my tanks. I now have everything covered. So I'm not going to be getting nearly the evaporation I was getting. Floor is full of snail waste. Don't know if I should clean it or not, but no other problems. What if it is, then what you need to do, Patricia, is you need to add half an inch to an inch of sand. If you will do that, then the waste will be able to precipitate down into the sand. It does that naturally. You just got a greater volume than the sand can handle. So add another half inch of sand and you should see it disappear. Joe Black. Hello, Joe. Have not seen you in an age. Gonna give you a wrench. Joe says, hello, Father Fish. I've spent 20 plus years high tech and now low tech. I will never go back. That's what I've learned from you, sir. Thank you so much. You know, here's the thing. High tech is low tech. Because the real high tech is the astoundingly complex nature system that has been developing for hundreds of millions of years. I mean, how is it that we think in 20 years we can match that record? It is the height of something silly. The real high tech is Mother Nature. The real low tech is all this equipment we manufacture to try to do what we think nature is doing. Or to try to prevent it, which is even worse. Biofilm. Biofilm, that's interesting. Yes, biofilm, snails, shrimp, small fish. Biofilm is an edible bacteria that is particularly desirable to invertebrates, snails, shrimp, and the like. So the solution is, the glass box is saying plecos, mollies, shrimp, or snails. Plecos and mollies, absolutely. GW, my goldfish, it's not active anymore. Could it be because of high ammoniac? Need to buy a test to test it. By the way, what tests should we invest in? Oh dear. See, this is what I mean. This is exactly what I mean. Tests. What are we testing? What is this testing thing? I mean, I do it. We all do it. But what is it really? What is it we think we're testing? Let's say we're testing for, now here, this is a good one. The goldfish is not active. So why is it not active? Well, I can think of 10 reasons that it could not be active. And all of them are different from each other. Some of them are things that we could test for. Most of them are not. So what are we really talking about here? We're talking about a symptom. The symptom is the fish is inactive. Okay. Is the fish showing any other symptoms? Does it look diseased in any way? Is its body swollen? Does it have things hanging over it? Are its fins deteriorating? Are there any other presenting conditions that lead you to believe it's not simply lazy? You think fish don't get lazy? Goldfish get lazy. Goldfish are the laziest fish in existence. Even before they were turned into goldfish, back when they were carp, they were lazy back then. And they're still lazy. Probably even worse. So, can we assume that you have a lazy fish? Well, it's an interesting possibility, now isn't it? Sheila, love your advice, thank you for your time. What to do regarding my albino pleco. Started with a scrape on its head, now red and other spots. Well, I'll tell you what you need to do, Sheila. You need to take him out, put him in a hospital tank. That's a bare tank with an air stone in it. Do not put any food of any kind in it. Put new water in it. New water, bare tank, totally clean, air stone. You don't even need the air stone because it's an air breather. It goes to the top to breathe. Put 1 teaspoon of salt per gallon. That probably will overcome the bacteria that apparently are infecting it, and it should help it to heal. The other thing you can do when you take it out of the tank, get some, what is this stuff called? The antibacterial ointment. I usually have a tube of it here to show off. And of course I'm not finding it. Oh, it's in the car. Why it's in the car, I don't know. But I saw it in the car. Whoop, what's this? Here we go. Bacitracin. Bacitracin. Put a little tiny dab on the fish wherever those places are. Just tiny dab. It ain't gonna stay there, but this won't come out. There it is. It'll stick to it a little bit. So it'll still be there. And it'll kill whatever bacteria is right on the surface. Do that, move in, treat with salt, and he's gonna get all better. Oh, we were doing GW. Ketsy wanted to know if GW has a filter. Yeah, that might get him stirred up. What you need to look for is secondary symptoms. Try to find something else that will point you in the direction of maybe a cause other than laziness. So, the fish is not moving. First thing you do is assume, oh, it's because he's lazy. Now, you can get in there and stir him up, push him around, make him move. You can pump some air and get circulation going. That'll make him move. Or you can let him be lazy and keep a good eye on him. See if something else happens. I mean, if he's doing that because there's a problem, another symptom will show up. Now, there's a narrowing window. I mean, there's symptom and then symptom and then symptom. And by the time you get to the fourth or fifth symptom, the animal's close to death. So you want to try to catch it, if you can, on the first, on the second or third. You got to observe. Keep an eye on it. Look carefully. Study him. Don't just start throwing treatments at it when you really don't know what the problem is. Because very often the treatment creates stress. And that'll make matters worse all by itself. So do not treat until you know with a high degree of certainty. It's never going to be 100%, but a high degree of certainty. You know what's wrong, and you've got a treatment plan for that specific problem. And yes, it is bag bulb. If you don't know what that is, you ain't been around a farm much. Steve Robson! I gave you a wrench, didn't I? I did. You two to slow down. Alright, moving right along here. Are we moving along? We're moving along. Giorgiali, Cabrera, hello, hello. Jose Chill, Rodriguez. Think of fathered fish. I did add Otto's pleco and the mystery snails. I just forgot about the patience, right. You can't forget about the patience. That's the most important part. And what is the patience? The patience is not sitting there twiddling your thumbs, trying to keep busy and not do anything. That's not patience. Patience is meditation, observation, deep breathing, if you will. Patience is enjoying the moment and stretching it out as long as possible. Patricia is so happy she found the channel. I am too, Patricia. I really am. Billy Blogs. Billy Bob Blogs. Hello, Billy Bob. Nice to see you. Billy Bob been around a while. And he doesn't have a wrench. He used to have a wrench. A little word to the wise here. Sometimes not if you have enough healthy plants. This is Slausers. And I don't know what. Oh, I'm going to find out. All right, Slausers. To what are you referring? Sue Moore. Hello, Sue. Hearts to you from Aussie land. Ketsy Nelson. When I got a goldfish, I found that if you wanted to swim more, then make feeding fun. I was being silly and put a fish bobber for fishing in my tank. The goldfish learned that if it bumped it, oh, I know where this is going. That is funny. Very clever, Ketsy. Very clever. Make him work for his dinner. Yeah, against the flow, bristlenose keyside sword plants mode. They do that, don't they? They chew holes in sword plants. They will not go after Vallisneria or Sagittaria. You can try those. But boy, yeah, you're right. They do love to eat holes in, but not in the new leaves, only in the old leaves. So there is that. Slausers, quarantine. What is Slausers talking about here? Just old. Talking about old. Talking about the goldfish, maybe? I don't know. Magnetars, aka lazy, right? Just old, Slauser says. Sammy, hello Sammy. Just look at the body structure of a goldfish. They look lazy. Ain't it the truth? Man, I tell you, if you had to haul that raft of fins around that some of these goldfish are blessed with, you'd be tired too. And they can't swim very well, or they're just sort of quivering at the time. They have a hard time moving. It ain't no wonder. Joe Black, what would your recommendation on how many, I guess, ember tetras for a 20-gallon planted you want to do? Just embers and a 20 planted. I'll tell you what you do, Joe. Get a deep layer of food web in there. At least an inch deep. That's leaves and mulch. Get that built up. Don't try to do it all at once. Spend a little time building it up. And then put, what's this? A 20-gallon tank. Put 20 ember tetras in it. And I guarantee you in a month, there will be hundreds of baby ember tetras down in all those leaves. Try it. You will be amazed and wondered. You will be wondered. It will be wonderful. Bristle Nose, keep my tank nice and clean. They do that, Sultan. They sure do. Would you say more the better when it comes to plants? There's a rule. There is a rule. The rule is the more plants you can have, the more fish you can have. Doesn't work the other way. The other way is if you say the more fish you can have, the more plants you can have. Doesn't work because the fish depend on the plants. The more plants you have, the more fish you can have. So load it up with plants and you will find that the fish will multiply to meet the, how shall I call it? I want to say demands, but that's the wrong word. The accommodation of the plants against the flow. Hello, hello. Ketsy, here we go with the goldfish. Oh, we did this one, didn't we? Yeah, this is her fish hopper. That is cool. That is very cool. Feed it, or at least go talk to it. Yeah, that's a funny thing about goldfish. They're highly responsive creatures. I think it's probably because they've been bred in captivity for literally thousands of years, much longer than any other fish, much longer. Longer by a factor of 100. Hybrid guppies. Guppies have been hybridized for less than 100 years. Well, it wouldn't be 100 times 100 because it wouldn't be 10,000. But it would be easily 2,000. Goldfish have been hybridized for at least 2,000 years. And you know, the reality is, it probably goes back a lot further than that. It's like corn. It's like corn. How's it like corn? Corn? Goldfish are like corn? Come on now, Father Fish, you're losing it. Nope, it's like corn. How is it like corn? I'm going to tell you precisely how goldfish are like corn. Need my Father Fish mug. Botanists, that's people who study plants, have been searching for a couple of 100 years. Thank you, Gary King, for your subscription. Let's see if anybody... We got a lot of new subscriptions here. Thank you all for all your subscriptions. For hundreds of years, botanists, those who study plants, have been trying to find here in the Americas, presumably, the origin of corn. And they have found nothing. Nothing. Now, it is possible, indeed reasonable, that corn was hybridized through selective breeding a very, very, very long time ago. Thousands of years, perhaps 10,000 years, perhaps even longer. During which time the original plant may well have gone extinct. So there is that. Similarly with goldfish. The claim, of course, is made that the origins of goldfish are carp. May well be. But I'm here to tell you, I have never seen a carp that looks anything like an aranda. Nothing. Not even close. To get from there to here, at the minimum, would take a minute. Maybe two. So, corn and goldfish have a common ancestry, which is unknown. My wife's gourami is on its side. I saw that and I'm trying to get back to it, and I've lost it. I'm back so far. I've totally lost track. Here it is. TK Tropicals. I'm about 20 minutes behind you. 6:26. 10 minutes. Okay. I can maybe catch up. Move the hospital tank, new water airstone. Why? Well, what do you do? What do you do when you have, or a member of your family has an unknown condition that is debilitating? What do? You go to the hospital, is what you do. You go to the hospital where they can study you and figure out what's going on. Now, you may not. You may just stay in bed until you get better or you get worse. But if you are debilitated, can't move, got no up and at 'em, feel done in, get scared a little bit, you go to the hospital. It's the same thing, TK. Your wife was obviously listening to me, or some other wise sage who was telling her, ooh, your gourami is lying on its side. Has it been lying on its side long? Yes, sir, for days. Does it show any other signs of distress? No, it's just lying on its side for days. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's take it out of the tank and put it in a hospital tank. Now, what is a hospital tank? It is a place that controls all of the environment. A hospital tank takes you out of your natural and normal home, your routine. Puts you in a sterile room with very little going on. The better to observe you with. Same with the gourami. Put it in a bare tank, nothing in the tank. Nothing. No sand, no dirt, no substrate, nothing. Not even old water. New water. Clean new water. An airstone only if you need it. Gouramis don't need it. They breathe from the air. Just like plecos and cories. Bare tank. Clean tank. No food. No food. Did I say no food? Good. No food. Did you get that now? No food. Do not feed the fish. No food. Not even a tiny bit. Not, can I give it just a flake? No. No flake. No food. None. Nada. Not a bit. Not a pinch. Not a speck. No food. So we got the no food part now, right? We got that down, right? Solid. Hospital tank, no food. It's rule number 1. It's rule number 2. It's rule number 3. It goes all the way up to rule number 10. No food. But he's hungry. He'll get over it. He'll either die or he'll get better. It's got nothing to do with food. You put food in there, you kill him quicker. No food. All right. Then what are we doing? We are observing. We are being observant. We're looking, watching, noticing, keeping an eye on Saltwater. Did I give you a wrench? I thought I did. It ain't showing up. I did. YouTube's being slow on the uptake. Gonna let us know. Gonna let us know, TK. We'll find out. You'll see. Ketsy is changing decorations in the tank. Oh, so the fish thinks they're in a new interesting place. Well, that's true, actually, isn't it? That is true. Fish get lazy. I'll tell you a good example of this. A perfect example is a male betta. If you leave a male betta alone, all by himself, in a tank, over a period of time, he will become so bored that he will clamp his fin and lay on the bottom and not hardly move at all until he just fades away. He will absolutely die of boredom. However, if you put a female betta in the tank, he'll be up and ready to go instantly and will stay that way so long as she's in the tank. You need plants for her to hide, and a larger tank is good. I've got one. I got a trio right here. Got a couple of them, actually. I've got 3 tanks with bettas, and they all have females in with them, and they're doing wonderfully well. Let's see, we need to jump along here. Slaughter's the best part of seeing progress. One of we the people. Hello, hello, Ketsy. My sister put bag balm in her hair and spiked it when she was 2 years old. It took months to get it out of her hair. I'll bet you. That's pretty sticky stuff. Aquatic Moose, thank you for your perspective on the spider mites in my koi betta paludarium. They've been a great food source, and their colors are popping. I've never seen colorful spider mites, but all right. I know. You're talking about the bettas. I know. I was just being funny. That was the intent. Would leaves do the same thing in a saltwater tank? No. I mean, they will, but no. Saltwater, the oceans. Now, I'm not talking about brackish water. That's a different category. Saltwater, there are very few places on Earth where forests grow up to the edge of oceans. Almost none. they're virtually non-existent. Why is that? Well, a lot of reasons. The main one is that trees can't grow in salty soil or grow very much in sand. And that or rocks if that's all that's there. So you don't get much in the way of leaves. However, you do get a lot of detritus. A lot of detritus. Particularly algae. Now there are plants living in the ocean. Rooted plants. Excuse me. Living in the ocean. But mostly there's algae and what we call macroalgae. And macroalgae is glorious. It is magnificent. It is colorful to the point of outpacing the rainbow. It has shapes and sizes that boggle the mind. Macroalgae are utterly magnificent. And of course they deteriorate, as all plants do. And they become nutrients for the macrofauna. Macrofauna are the foundation of life in the ocean, just as they are in fresh water. What's interesting about this is that the most sophisticated fish keepers among us, who are the coral breeders, those who keep and raise coral, about 50% of them understand the life cycle of the coral and have learned to duplicate it in their aquarium. How do they do this? They do deep substrate, minimum 6 inches. They do wild culture from the ocean that they bring in the form of dirted substrate, in the form of live rock, in the form of corals, whatever else is growing, living, and found in the sea that has life growing on it. All of that is brought into the aquarium in order to do what? In order to create a bioculture in the system that will be precisely what we are creating with the food web. What does that do? It provides nutrients for tiny fish, macroorganisms, coral, and other invertebrate animals living in that environment. All of which then provide nutrients to larger fish and stuff like that. So, yes, the answer is yes. Father fish diving deep, says Phillips. Ain't we ever? Flower of Light. Hello, Flower of Light. Nice to have you with us. Let's give you a wrench. We have a lot of new people in, don't we? Nice. Can you use organic compost as a foundation? Yeah, you want to break it up some though. I like to use either coir, that's coconut husk, or peat moss, something to break it up. You don't want it so rich that it's going to bubble up and break through the surface and foul the tank, because that can happen. So yeah, it's good to use compost. You just want to thin it down a little, and no more than 1 inch, unless you've got a 55-gallon or larger tank. No more than 1 inch of dirt, and if it's a 10-gallon, even less than that. Half an inch to 3/4 of an inch is more than adequate. Ooby-doo. Southern American cichlids, Daniel Craw, use Epsom salts when they get a hole in the head. Yeah, perfect. They healed after the use of it. Yeah, it's a bacterial infection, and Epsom salts will kill the bacteria. So it's a perfect treatment. Did you get that? Hole in the head. Bacterial infection. What causes it? Dirty water. What causes dirty water? Overfeeding. Overfeeding causes hole in the head. Got that? It creates an explosion of bacteria that gets completely out of control and takes over the environment. And in the process begins attacking everything, including the fish, the plants, everything comes under attack. Normally, bacteria is not in the water column. It's on the surface of things. But if you get so much food in there that the water becomes foul, then it moves into the water column. And that's when there's hell to pay, because it'll take over everything. What are we talking? Garden shade cloth works well as what? Camping shader. Talking to Flo. Do I want to know? I have the distinct impression I don't want to know. I'm not going to go back and find out. I don't want to comment on that. Referring to Jose's comment on if lots of plants are good, I was saying, yeah, it's very good. May even be enough to replace a filter. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Grape leaves in the substrate for plant growth. Any leaves are good. Make sure they are thoroughly dried. Thoroughly dried. What you don't want to do is get a lot of sap. You don't pull leaves off a tree and throw them in the tank. You don't want all those sugars in there. They will foul the water. It'll create same problem we were just talking about. It'll create a nutrient level so intense that the bacteria trying to eat it all will just go wild. Make sure they're dried, thoroughly dried. And in fact, you don't want to pull leaves off a tree and dry them, because then all the sugars will still be in the leaves. A leaf that dries on the tree has all the sugars taken out of it. All the sap is removed from it. That's why it drops off. Because the tree doesn't want it anymore. It's taken everything out of it. So you want to collect leaves after they naturally fall on the ground. They're perfect at that stage. That's when they go into the system, into the water column and the like. So yeah, grape leaves are fine, but you don't want to pick them off the vine and dry them. Papa Fish live stream, Erie. Made my Sunday night. Thank you, Erie. Delighted to see you. Claire Fay. Hello from Moray, Scotland. Hello, Claire. Nice to see you. Good to have you with us. And I just gave you a wrench, which you may get sometime before the night is out. Trisha Rokel. Hello, Trisha. Nice to see you. What about replacing water that evaporates? How often? I honestly believe that the best way to replace evaporation is every day. Now, I don't do it because I'm lazy, but yeah, every day. Pour a glass of water in every day. That keeps the water stable. I used to have on my saltwater tanks, I had a top-off system. Now, this kind of goes in the opposite direction. The top-off was RO water. And the reason I put RO water in was, rather than salt water, was that evaporation increased the salinity. And by putting RO water in, I got it back to the original salinity. So I set up the RO on an automatic top-off. So it automatically kept it at a specified level. And that was wonderful, because I didn't have to go around topping off the salt water all the time and trying to fiddle with the problems that increased and decreased salinity created. Ugh. Magnetars. Been getting weird yellowing holes on my Anubias plants. All the other plants are healthy and growing strong, so I don't know what Anubias don't like. If they're new plants, and by new I mean less than 6 months old, then they have not established an adequate root system to get adequate nutrients to them. It is common for Anubias to die off when they're planted for the first time in an aquarium. Anubias require a very dense root system in order to provide adequate nutrients to the plant. Don't know why, they just do. So typically what will happen, you put an Anubias in a tank, it dies. Oh my God, I just spent so much money on that plant, it's dead, it's dead. Ew. I don't want to look at them anymore. Well, 6 months later, what's that? What's that? What is that? It's a little tiny planker. What is that? I didn't put anything. I don't know what is that? And it keeps growing, and it gets bigger. You know what that looks like? It looks like an Anubias. Anubias. I put that there 6 months ago. Well, if you pull it up, you'll see it's got a vast root system. So it's not dead. It's just getting itself together so it can go vroom, to the moon. Tank tub project. Is it possible to create deep layer substrate using recycled bottles? Mercy. I'll tell you what. Recycled bottles, won't work. Recycled boots, now that'll work. Particularly if they are leather or some kind of material, like an organic material. That'll work. Bottles, nothing organic. Anything organic will work. Bottles are plastic and glass. Won't work. Not organic. Boots work. Old shirts, sweaters, jackets, now raincoats might not. They might not be made out of the right material. Organic. Organic is the key. Anything that's organic is going to break down. So think organic. Patricia Sosa. Eau Claire Fay says, just started getting the same on my Anubias. That's not necessarily what it is, but there's a, whoa, wait a minute. There's a pretty good chance that's what it is. So just hang in there and watch it. It may also be only on the old leaves. Pay attention to that too. Very often, a plant, it'll have new leaves coming up through the center, through the crown, and the old leaves will be dying off. They're dying, all these dead leaves. But if you look in the middle, it's got all these bright green, beautiful new leaves. It's new life, growing, growing. And the old is dying because it's done. It's done its job. And it's going back into from whence it came. So it can become part of the new life, growing, growing, like that. Patricia. Kind of remind me of a puppy. If I'm gone from home for a while, they're calm. And as soon as I open the door, they swim to see me. There you go. Yeah, I was on a rant about that, and I lost it. I think that's cool. I think it's true because goldfish have been kept in captivity for so many thousands of years that they have developed an autonomic, is that a word, bond with their keepers, like puppies. Like they can't get out and lick you and play quite the same. But yeah, I think so. I think that's absolutely true. I think goldfish have a relationship with people that's based on thousands of years of genetics, breeding, inbreeding, crossbreeding, working with, holding, caring, loving, taking care of, all of the stuff we've been doing with these animals for thousands and thousands of years. And they're finally saying, hey, I know you. I know you. My grandfather knew you. My great-grandfather knew you. I know you. And they come up to us like a puppy. It's true. It's true. Tell me it ain't true. What's the best way to breed peacock cichlids? Well, feed them good. You want the females to egg up. Feed them high protein food, preferably live food, like worms and such. You can take the female out, put her in a separate tank, and beef her up. Just feed her till she gets big and fat. Then put her back in the tank, and if there's a decent male in there, they're going to spawn in a matter of minutes. It will happen instantly. That's all you need to do. You just get the female egged up. Feed her heavily until she's big and fat, and they will go at it. Can Flourish XL kill your fish? Well, I tell you what, Peter, I don't use it. And the reason I don't use it is because there really isn't anything in it that's at all helpful. It's just kind of a waste of money to put it in. Phaedra. Danielle. Set up my first 2 dirted tanks immediately at cyano. Did not have 2 full inches of sand cap. Do I need to remove the cyano before I add more sand? No. Go ahead and add more sand and stop putting food in the tank. No food of any kind at all until the cyano clears up. There also are things you can put in there like shrimp and plecos that will help to devour the cyano. But it occurs as a result of excess nitrates. So the cyano is trying to control the nitrates. So you don't want to get rid of it. Really, you don't need to get rid of it. You need to control the nitrates, and that gets rid of it more or less automatically. Now, you might have them because your sand is too shallow. You've got nitrates coming up from the substrate. Distinct possibility. So yeah, start by adding sand. Get it up to 2.5 inches. Since you got a problem, just add a little more. Melanie laughed. LOL. Fish corn soup. Ryan Oaks. Nice. Slozzers. Ever been into shrimp breeding? No, I have not. Used to hobby breed Taiwan bee shrimp and Cardinia. Wow. Very intense. Yeah, I know. It absolutely is. I don't know what the conditions would be to be able to maintain the Taiwan bees and the Cardinia. I don't know. I've not paid any attention to it. I guess I really should. I mean, they are spectacular. But they don't do well in most community tanks, so it's kind of meaningless having them unless you're going to set up that tank. And I'll tell you what though, I really should, because there are some gouramis, licorice gouramis and the like that I would love to be able to keep and spawn. And it takes pretty much the same condition as with the Cardinia. So no, I haven't, but given the opportunity, I may yet. You never know. Pocket and Cornelia show. Hello. Give you a wrench for the show. Aaron W. Get those likes up, guys. Where are we at? We're at 121 viewers. That ain't bad. What time is it? Little after 7. Gary McGrath. I chucked out all my fish food because I can't help myself. Bravo! It really does work. My fish are finding plenty of food while they're doing lots of little poops. They're eating biofilm and algae. There it is, the Poop Patrol. Shades of Lee. Excellent, Gary. Excellent. Always wanted the leather boot tank. Nothing screams biome like an old boot. I know it's true. It is true. And you know, there's nothing wrong with doing it. I have a video out when Corey came out with his $50 brine shrimp breeder. Brine shrimp hatcher works. It was a $50 brine shrimp hatcher. I just got a wild hair and I pulled out a boot And I dipped some salt water out of my saltwater tank, and I put some brine shrimp eggs in it and sat it on the counter. No air, nothing, just the boot on the counter with the salt water and the eggs in it. And I videoed it. And I came back the next day and dumped it into a jar. And wouldn't you know, it was full of brine shrimp swimming around. True story. You can go back and find it. It's called, I don't know what it's called. Brine shrimp in a boot or something. Oklahoma ponds and streams are red sand substrate. Is it okay for your tank? Listen, Melanie, if it's okay for Oklahoma, it's okay for your tank. You betcha, dear. Go ahead and do it. Just do it. A clown loach is good for 10-gallon tanks. Do you know how big clown loaches get? I'm going to tell you how big clown loaches get. Clown loaches get upwards of a foot long. Is that too big for a 10-gallon tank? You betcha. They'll get to 4 to 5 inches in a year to 2 years. So I would say no. Clown loaches are not good for a 10-gallon tank. The other issue with them is they're not very tolerant, excuse me, of changes in temperature. They get ick quicker than any other fish, I think. Erie says that leather boot chat had me thinking I'd been spiked with LSD. It does get fanciful around here. Fantastical even. Phantasmagoric even. Fantabulous even. Can I use rainwater in my aquarium, says Phaedra. And Father Fish says, yes, Phaedra, you can use rainwater in your aquarium. Keep in mind, rainwater has a GH of 0 or close to it. So you may well need to add something to that to keep it from becoming acidic. I would suggest if you want an acid tank, then rainwater would be an excellent way to get there, because it'll drop down to 6 and lower. Tank Tub Project said it can't have a boot talk with Corey. Well, you could. I don't know if Corey ever saw it. I never heard any feedback. Did you hear about the paper boy he blew away? Listen, we had a tornado about 30 miles north of us in Bridgeville, Delaware, last night. Wrecked a town and actually killed someone. And the edge of that storm was right here. A thunderbolt so loud that people heard it as though it were right above their heads, 10 miles in either direction. It was incredible. I've never heard a thunderclap that loud. It shook the house. It went on for, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds at least. Just this steady louder and louder. Probably was a tornado. No, it was a thunderclap. I do know the difference. Because it didn't come up slow. It was a wham! And then it just kept whamming and whamming until it rolled away. Monster thing. Best plant for common goldfish tank. Guppy grass is good. Frog's spit is good. Hornwort is perfect. Anything like that, they're not going to eat that. They eat a lot of plants, but they're not going to eat like hornwort. Dooby-doo. Where else have we gone? Sounds like pollux. Pollux. Duckweed, best plant for goldfish. True. Best plant to feed it. Goldfish love duckweed. I need to get some goldfish. I've got a duckweed problem in all of my tanks. I think I need to get a really cool goldfish. And a randa maybe. Something that's not going to chase the baby fish. And just move it from tank to tank till I get rid of all the duckweed. Thunder and lightning, says Erie. Start my food web over, says KG. Wondering if anyone had any ideas for getting cyano in a reef tank under control. It's Deal. Same thing, DeLaw. Same thing exactly. It's there because of too much nitrate. You can skim it out, but it'll come back. You can cap it, it'll come up through it. You can do water changes, but the real solution is to stop feeding your fish. You're overfeeding, and it's creating more nitrates than the system can handle. So you're overdosing, if you will. You're overdoing the nitrification, which means you're overdoing the food. And it's not that the food's not getting eaten. It is getting eaten. That's not the issue. The issue is not putting more food in than the fish can eat. That ain't the problem. It's putting more food in that the tank can handle after the fish eat it and poop it out. That's the problem. So it's overfeeding not the fish, but the tank, putting more nutrient into the tank than the biology of the system is able to handle. How do you correct that? You depend on the fish to eat from the tank and not from the can of food. The tank is creating food all the time. That's what it does. It generates food for everything that's living in there, including the fish. Now you may not see it. It may be microscopic. It may be slime mold. It may be something that doesn't seem like food to you, but it is. This is the importance of the poop patrol. Stop feeding your fish and observe them. And notice whether they are pooping. Not the next day, but a week later, 2 weeks later, a month later. If they continue to poop, obviously they're continuing to eat. And in the process, they are not threatening the biology of the system. They are in balance and in harmony with it. The more food you put in, the more you upset that balance. Try to get a hold of that, because that's the key to the whole thing. That's why we talk about a food web. And we actually do things to create a food web. We do all that in order to make it clear and obvious that this aquarium is making food for the fish. such that you don't need to put anything else in there. Gloria! Gloria! Gloria, thank you. That's so generous. Look at that. Look at that. That is miraculous. It's wonderful. Thank you, Gloria, for your $25 super chat. That's magnificent. And we're going to make a moderator out of you. How nice. Thank you, Gloria. That is absolutely lovely. Just delightful. I don't know. I used to be able to, I don't know how to do it, to highlight these. Oh, that was in another program that I don't have. Actually, this one does it, doesn't it? Right there. Gloria! Lovely. Thank you, dear. Do appreciate it. These, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you how important this is. Her little gift there. I now have 4 people, all 4 of whom are unemployed, primarily because they are disabled in one way or another. I think one of them is not, the others are. Not able to hold down a full-time job, but they are working heroically as volunteers on this channel, supporting me and helping me. That's why the videos are so much better. That's why we suddenly have gained 10,000 new subscribers. Because I've got this group of people who are working with me to help me do this. And I'm trying my level best to send them a little bit of money every month to help them with their personal expenses. And my hope is to get the channel to the point where it's making enough money that I'll be able to send them a few $100s a month. I can't do that yet. But with this kind of help from Gloria, I can do a little more than I'm doing now. So it is so appreciated and so important that you recognize, if you love this channel, it cost us, I don't even want to say how much. It costs us easily $1,000 a month right now, probably more, to run this channel. And that's going up. Not because of inflation, but because we're doing more. And each thing we do costs more. So your support, both in terms of making financial support if you can, but also sharing these videos and live streams on other platforms, which gets us in front of people who would never otherwise see us. That's so important, because it brings more people into the shoal, into the fatherfish family. In addition, if you need plants, dirted substrate, whatever you need, go to our YouTube, to our channel, to our website. Go to our website. It's called father.fish. Father.fish. You'll find a store there. We sell all kinds of things, including the best deal you will ever find on plants, bunch plants. We sell this week, we're selling 8 different species of bunch plants. 2 bunches each. That's 10 plants each of 8 different kinds. That's 80 plants for $59 plus $15 for shipping. You'll find that listed on father.fish. I still have about 5 orders left this week. I can still fill 5 orders, and I can do it tomorrow and have these plants to you by Wednesday at the earliest, Thursday at the latest. If you need plants, get online and buy them right now. You're not going to find a better deal. And they are very whole, healthy, vibrant, strong plants. They're not little weakling things. They're big, strong, healthy plants, and a magnificent variety. If you want to know what types, it's posted at our Discord channel. Go to the Discord channel and look up under the store, and you'll see the list. It changes week to week. We have different plants available each week. They come from a farm in Florida that produces the highest quality plants anywhere in the U.S. They are raised in water. They're not raised emergent. So you're getting water plants, water leaves. They are strong, healthy, vibrant plants. They only sell to select businesses, select stores, and commercial operations like public aquariums. They are the best there are. I've known them for years. And as a personal favor, they allow me to buy from them. And I sell them to you, and they're wonderful. So, if you need plants, jump on that. You'll love it. The best goldfish are 10-gallon tanks. Goldfish, you can start small goldfish, any small goldfish, out in the 10-gallon tank, but they're not going to do well in there long. Goldfish, when they're full grown, the arandas, for example, will get the size, almost the size of a softball, easily the size of a hardball. That's too big for a 10-gallon tank. You need at least a 20-gallon tank, and bigger is better. So you can start fish, 2 or 3 fancy goldfish, in a 10-gallon tank, but be prepared in 6 months to a year down the road, they're going to need to be moved into a larger tank. It will just be too small. If you don't seed your fish, you'll see them still dart around or feed your fish and pick at things just as if you had fed them. That's right, they see fish you cannot. Absolutely, DC. Absolutely. Melanie, here's 3G, a $20 super chat. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, 3G, I'm sorry. Thank you, 3G, so much. Here, Fishy is here. Bless you, girl. Nice to see you. Delighted to have you here. The Fishy Plumber, listening as I drove home. Wonderful. Welcome to Snook. Gloria has joined the channel as a Snook. I think that's $5 to do that. It's a $5 a month pledge. You can join either YouTube, you can join Patreon, or you can make donations as Gloria has done here on live streams. Erie says, Melanie, I love you. Yes, indeed. There's Melanie putting another $10 in. Thank you, Melanie. You are a sweetheart. Stephen Clark, $20. Thank you, Stephen. Goodness, I need to go back and look. There's Gloria's 25. Stephen Clark, $20. Fish, Father Fish, my fishies, thank you. And I thank you, Stephen. That's so generous and so kind. Thank you so much. I will have that glorious song stuck in my head all night now. Says Here Fishy. Here Fishy has written some fun songs. I need to learn how to do this. I don't know how to do. I'm on a different platform that I've been on before, and I kind of got stuck on it, and I perched on top of it, and I know just enough about it to get in trouble. One of the things I don't know is how to do anything. Oh well. TK. I feed one a day, sometimes not for 3 days. How about if you have baby fry? Glad you asked, TK. That is so vital and so critical. If you have baby fry, first of all, if they're born in a food web, a rich, strong food web, then there will be enough food in there for the first couple of weeks. I mean, if you have 100 fry, they'll find enough food for the first couple of weeks to get them started. After that, you're going to need to feed them because they're going to be putting a lot of pressure on that food web. So you'll need to find a food, preferably a live food. At that stage, baby brine shrimp would be good. What you might consider, if you can do it easily, is to pull some of them out of the tank and raise them separately. Not all of them, some. If you have rams, for example, it would be very helpful to do that because the rams are going to get picked off. And it would be a shame to let that happen. So, yeah, they're good for a while, but within a week or so, you're going to need to supplement. Baby fish have to be able to eat every day. They must eat every day. Some of them must eat every few hours because they have no reserves. And so they burn up all their energy. And if there's nothing more coming in, they'll die. There are fish that will die day one if they get no food. They'll die in the first hour if they get new food. I'll tell you which one that's true of is the clownfish. The saltwater clown. If it does not get food in the first hour, it dies. It needs that much food that fast because they've gone through such a development process that by the time they hatch out, they're ready to eat right away. They have to eat right away in order to continue to live. How's the book coming, says DC. It's doing well. We're at the writing stage. We finished the research on the first segment and are putting together the text. So another month or two, probably two, and we'll have that first section out on leaves. Here, Fishy, they're doing a fabulous job. Yes, indeed. Melanie Moran, thank you again for your $10 gift on top of your $20. That's enormously generous. Thank you so much. Leslie De Silva. If I never see our fish poop, I have a betta in a dirt and sand substrate tank with driftwood, almond leaves, and plants. How long can I reasonably assume my betta is eating? I have had bettas in little tiny bags that got lost for a month and they were found. So, funny story. The treasurer of our club, Doc, he was called, he bought some bettas at an auction. They were in little tiny bags, these little tiny bags. Bought one he really liked, threw it in his briefcase that he carried, took it home, never opened the briefcase, brought the briefcase back to the next meeting, opened it up, and there's the betta from a month ago. And it was swimming around just as happy as they could be. So, it is very difficult to starve a fish. You have to really work at it for a long, long, long period of time. You're not going to do it. Gloria, welcome to Snook. I'm going over myself. The Fishy Plumber. Here, Fishy. 3G, 20 bucks. Thank you, 3G. Eric, hello, Father Fish. Thank you for my success and beautiful tank. Everything is in control. D-Law. What is this? I've jumped ahead. Your Fishy D-Law. 1-year-old Moore's almost the size of my fist. Medium glove. They get big fast. Definitely buying some plants off Father Fish. Well, Hollow Girl, definitely look forward to sending them to West Virginia. Love you too, Melanie. Thank you so much. Betta Aquatics. Hello, hello. Erie First. Don't feel bad. It took me 30 years to set my tank properly. Thanks to you. GW. Wish to get an order to Spain. If you're in the EU, we're probably going to be able to do it. We're working on it now. We're trying to get an EU distributor going. That will be Tommy or Laura. Gonna happen. Jennifer McFadden, are there any small cichlids for 10-gallon tanks? Yes, the rams are perfect in a 10-gallon tank. German blue rams. There are a number of other small cichlids too. I recommend the German blue. The Epistogrammas are perfect. Those are two groups of fish that are just perfect in a 10-gallon tank. First Class Fish, long time no see. Nice to see you, First Class Fish. Bravo, and nice to have you here. Could add another fish to Goldfish in a 19-gallon tank. Yes, you certainly may. Absolutely. Divine Graphics, $25 super chat. Thank you so much, Divine Graphics Inc., LLC. Do very much appreciate your donation. It's going to help a lot. I was really trying to figure out how to. I kind of ran low on money this the end of the month, so I've been trying to work out how to get money out to everybody within the next few days. But I think by the end of tonight, with a couple of plant orders and what you guys are coming up with, it's going to make all the difference. So thank you so much. Waiting to be able to get plants cross-border to Canada. Well, that's going to be next week. We're getting an order of plants to Snakey next week. She'll be able to start shipping out by the, let's see, by the end of next week? Probably by the end of next week or the week after. So that's going to happen rather quickly now. Zoltan is back. Hello, Zoltan. Leslie De Silva. Hello, Leslie. Just donated $10. Thank you, Leslie. So much. That's very kind of you. Kevin Brislon. Hello from another senior citizen who's been an aquarist since the mid-60s. I'm 71. Bravo, Kevin. Delighted to have you here. We need to stick together. If you're fishing, multi-shell dwellers can go and attend for a while. Yes, that's right. They certainly can. And the only reason they need to move out is because you wind up with too many of them. So it's really a perfect fish for a 10-gallon tank. The multis. You know, fishing has had some nice multi populations too. I've seen her tanks. John Parker, when finding fresh wood in the wild, is there anything I should do to it before putting it in my tank? Make sure it has been dead and dried, preferably in water, for at least a year. And you'll be able to tell because it'll be, if it's a hardwood, and you only want to do hardwood, it'll be hard. It'll be cleaned off. It'll be hard. It'll just look like it's not going to be a problem. You do not want to take a branch that's fallen off a tree and stick it in the tank. It will have sap in it. It will foul the tank. Don't do that. What guppies do good for 10-gallon tanks? Can I put other fish in with guppies? You can, but I really think if in a 10-gallon tank, if you just do guppies, you're going to be so much happier because you can load it with plants, you'll get lots of babies, and you'll be able to watch them grow in that what will become a colony tank. What happened to EJ? Craig's saying. I know, I miss EJ. I really do miss her terribly. I was looking at a picture of her yesterday. EJ has 2 special needs children who are young teenagers, and a husband who's, while he's not special needs, is nonetheless a husband. And she's working a full-time job, as is her husband, and struggling to take care of these kids. And frankly, she could not take the time to be able to continue what she was doing with this. I know she loved it, and we loved having her. But we bless her, and bless her family, bless her children, and hope for the day, one day, when she'll be able to join us again. So, that's what happened to EJ. And just wish her well, and wish her family well. Miss her bright face. I do too. Absolutely do. And I have hit the bottom. Look at that. I did it. What did I miss? I don't think I missed anything. Leslie De Silva's $10. Didn't miss that. Kevin Brislon, love your show, brother. Thank you, Kevin, very, very much. All right. Now, I'm assuming there's stuff here that's not showing up. Hidden wings. I've not seen hidden wings. Can I do the time? See if I can do a timestamp on this. Yes, I can. Okay, 7:46. 7:46. Oh, there it is. It's just coming up. Came up there before here. Okay. Doobie-doo. Guppies and cherry shrimp are fun. Yeah, that's certainly a good mix. Hidden wings. Starting my first self-sustaining fish tank. Been doing tons of research. Thank you. I'm excited, delighted to have you more on board. Make sure you come over Hidden Wings to Discord. You'll get lots of support there and lots of interest in your project. Here, Fishy is saying it takes a lot of work and preparation to be able to live stream once a week. It doesn't look that way. Father Fish makes it easy, makes it look easy. Well, I've been doing it a while. What native fish, Florida fish, are okay and unheated? Any at all, lumpy dog. The temperatures in Florida get down into the 40s routinely in the winter. So any of the Florida fish can tolerate, they don't need heat. They can't stand freezing temperatures, but unheated down to 60, not a problem at all. Rich Pelt, my goal was to have a tank that looked like EJ's. I know. She was such an inspiration because she was able to do, and she had done that on her own before she knew anything about us. Before she knew about Father Fish, she was doing it just automatically. After 3 months, this woman was putting together food webs, deep substrate, just out of her own understanding of what a fish tank ought to be. Just an absolute miracle. Amazing. It amazed me constantly. And she was such a delight that thoroughly enjoyed just being able to be with her once a week or more. It was wonderful. Asked to help moderate, but I got lost how to help. If you come over to Discord, Kevin, we've got a whole protocol there on moderating. Everybody here is a moderator, Kevin, which puts us all in charge of each other. So nobody ever gets away with doing anything, even for 2 seconds. Oh, just saw the change in my question. You went back and checked, didn't you, Chuck? Pretty cool. Good for you. 72-gallon boat front, 20 and a 28. Nice sized tanks. Trapper Keeper. Hello, Trapper Keeper. Nice to see you. So many new people. Must have been 20 new people in today. That's just amazing. Sean Lawrence. Would you use 2 J-boat crossbar wave makers in a Strand 55-gallon heat break? Yes, I would. A gallon reef tank. Absolutely. Yeah, I really like the wave makers. I think they're pretty cool. The only problem with them is they're noisy. And they make a very strange noise that you can hear across the room. But they're wonderful. Oh, righty. What are we doing here? I've hit bottom. Hit bottom. A YouTuber. Remove Black Tiger Dario pair to get fry. You probably need to. That's probably exactly right. You need to set them up in their own tank, and then once they lay eggs, either pull the eggs or pull the fish, and let them hatch on their own. They may be eating them. It'll give you a handle on what's happening in any case. You may be looking for what does not exist, Kevin. You betcha. A YouTuber. Yeah, if you get them going, that'll be a popular fish. I don't know what Shrimpin was trying to post, but Shrimpin retracted it. Alright, I think we're down to it here. What have we got? 5 minutes left. We'll just run it. We'll run it another 5 minutes. Sean Lawrence, glad I found your channel about a month ago. Thank you, Sean. Glad you did too. Make sure, if you guys have not been on Discord yet, to do that. Go visit Discord. It may not be your cup of tea, but if you're here chatting away, it likely is. So do join us there. Shrimp and Aquatics. Wondering, do you keep any type of shrimp? I do not have one shrimp. I found a little crayfish out in the plants that I brought in with some leaf mulch. But I really want to. I'm going to be bringing shrimp in next week because I'm going up to visit the pet shop in Dover, Super Cichlids. I'll be setting up a tank there. We will video that. So we'll be able to show that. Probably adds a video. Might even try to live stream. It'll be during the day. Next Wednesday. Shrimp and Aquatics, live shrimp. If you do, what do you think about keeping them in tap water? Yeah, you don't want to keep them in RO water. The Neocaridina need to be in hard water. The Caridina, you can keep them in RO because you need softer water for them. But so it depends on what you're keeping. And Gren says shrimp are fine in a 10, absolutely. Kevin found that not overcleaning my filter. Never had issues with ammonia spike. That's right. You can't scrub those filters because you'll be doing away with the biology that the system needs. Erie says, I've shown my mother some of your videos. She says you're a lovely man. Do I need to know about your mother, Ian? Ear. Ear first. Ear first's mother. Oh my. Shrimp and Aquatics. Ready to hear. You'll keep. Yeah, I'm going to get some this week. I should have had them right along. I've had them in the past, and I've got tanks that are perfect for them. So I'll probably get. What I ought to do is contact BioAquatics and have him send me a bunch. That way I could separate them by color. Mr. Monitor, $10. Your laughter and love of fish makes me happy. Thank you so much. That's very kind. And thank you for the generous support. Appreciate your gift and appreciate your comment. Very nice. Thank you, thank you. Shrimp and RO, starting with distilled better. Again, it depends on the shrimp. But yeah, if you got Caridina, distilled water. Now, it raises a whole other issue. If you're doing distilled water in a hard water tank, then you need to mineralize it. And that's a whole other issue we're not going to get into right now. Kevin is in Arizona, moved from Oregon, with only mite plants. They all survived, except for the Java fern. Didn't like the hard water here in Arizona. Mix in rainwater with that. It probably was something other than that, because Java fern do very well in brackish water. Gonna get salt, fresh or brackish. That I'm done. I'm gonna get Neocaridina. Is one I'm gonna get. A beer, my dog, my fish. A beer, a burrito, and off work. Two more, something. Life is good. Tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow. Right. Erie first. A beer, my dog, my fish, father fish, a beer, a burrito, and off work tomorrow. Life is good. Yeah, that's late there, I guess, isn't it? what's it, 8 o'clock here? It's like 2 in the morning where you are. Bravo, thanks for hanging in with it. Chuck Filial, thanks for all your information. Helped me. Thank you, Chuck. And here's a wrench. VP Riggs, hello. Set up my dirted tank per your instructional videos a week ago. Is it normal for the sand to slowly become darker from the dirt up? Made sure not to wet the dirt too much. That is normal. If it gets close to the top, then add more sand. You don't want it to break through the sand cap. So if it's getting right up to the top, within half an inch, add another inch of sand to it. GW, repeating question. Sorry for being annoying, but I wish to ask some fish with goldfish. Add some fish with goldfish. 2 fish in the 19. What kind of fish can I get? Oh, it's a problem. Because little fish are going to nip the fins of the goldfish. And it depends on the fish. You can do it. Danio are a good fish to add with goldfish. Danio will do well. They don't go after anything. They're comparable in size. They're busy in the way that goldfish are not. They're much more active. And they're a nice match for the shape. So I would go with Danios. Do not do gouramis. They'll just tear the goldfish up. Rich Peltz has learned his lesson, killed from overfeeding. I hear that. Bucephalus or banjo catfish hide under the gravel. Never see them, but when I scoop them out, they're always fat. They come out at night, Kevin. Put a red light on your tank, or get a red bulb on your flashlight, and look for them in the dark, and you'll see them. They'll be out. Erie first, your revelation, an absolute tonic. The truth and a life lesson I'll nurture forever. Thank you, Erie, so much. Very kind of you. All right, I think we're done. We're done. We've been 2 hours doing this. Just looked at your store. We'll make a purchase as soon as my husband has time to get my living wall rack built. You bet, Nika. Yeah, it'll be fun to do it. We're currently selling the supplement in Canada and in the EU. We will have plants in Canada starting in about 2 weeks. We will have plants in the EU. Might take a little longer. We're just trying to get things set up to be able to do it. But we're gonna be able to provide for you guys who don't live in the U.S., who are at least in the EU. I also have the possibility of support in India, although we don't have a whole lot of people yet from India. That is growing. So we'll be doing that as well. All right, we're saying goodbye now. Saying goodbye. Love you all. Delighted to be with you. I know they come out in the night, in the dark, but I'm asleep. Well, Kevin, I don't know what to tell you. Set your alarm. All the best to you, Erie. All the best to everyone. Love you all. See you over on Discord. We'll have a new video out on Tuesday. Please share it. We really need to keep the numbers up and see if we can't. We need to get to 100,000 by the end of the year. Now, we're actually doing quite well, but we need to do even better to make that mark. So please help us. Please do all that you can. Just share, watch the videos, share. Love you all. Blessings. Be good to your fish. Bye for now.